Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing an important data structure that is present in Python, which is lists. First of all, we will learn what is a list. So it is a sequential collection of values where each value has a location, which is also called an index. These lists are heterogeneous, which means values can be of any data type, like integer, float, string, and so on. And lists is a data structure which is mutable type, which means the values of elements which are present in a list can be changed. And in order to create a list, we need to place all the elements inside a square bracket, which are separated by commas. Let us look at some examples. So this is a list of integers, which means all the elements belong to integers data type. Similarly, this is a list of strings. All elements belong to string type, separated by a comma and enclosed within square brackets. This is a list of floating point numbers. It is not necessary that list should contain all the elements to be of same type. It can also have mixed data type elements. This is an example of nested list. A nested list is a list within a list. So in this case, you have 4 elements and the 4th element is list in itself. So inner list can also be called as a sublist. This is an example of empty list which doesn't have any elements inside it. Now let us learn how to index a list. So indexing is basically helpful to access elements within a list. So indexing ranges from 0 to n-1 if you are starting from left to right, and -1 to +(-1) from right to left, where n is the length of the list. Let us take an example of a list. Let's say you have Kriya, where each element is a string character K, R, E, A. We have 4 elements. Let us suppose that these are enclosed within square bracket. Suppose if you are following positive indexing, the first element K is positioned at a 0th position, R is at first position, E is in second position, and A is in third position. Suppose if you are following negative indexing, then it starts from right to left. So the last element A is indexed as -1, E is -2, R -3, and K is -4. Suppose if you want to know the length of the list, which means if you want to find the number of elements that are present in a list, you can use an inbuilt function called len, L-E-N. So if you type len of list, you will get the output as 4. Let us learn how to use this list to do indexing and slicing. So let us consider a simple list X, which is having 5 numeric elements, and the positive indexing positions are mentioned here. It starts from 0 to and ends at 4. If you are doing negative indexing, it starts from -1 to -5 from right to left. So indexing. Suppose if you want to extract the 0th positioned element of list, you should write x of 0. You will get the output as 38. Similarly, if you want to extract third positioned element, you can write x of 3. You will get the output as 84. Similarly, you can fill in the spaces. You can just try it on your own as an exercise. You can also apply negative indexing like x of -1. So you will get the output as 99. So you can fill out the blank spaces. You can consider it as an exercise for you and show us the results. So indexing is basically used to extract a single element. So there is another concept called slicing, where you are trying to extract a range of elements. For example, suppose if you want to extract all the elements which are positioned between 2 to 5, you can write x of 2 colon 5. So for slicing, we will use a symbol colon between start position and ending position. So x of 2 to 5 will generate the output as second position. You have 76. So 2, 3, 4. So you will get the output as 76, 84, and 99. And this is how you can use a positive indexing for slicing operation. You can also use negative indexing for slicing. So you can try for x of -5 to -1. So you will get the output as 38, 52, 76, and 84. Similarly, you can fill in the rest of the blanks. And suppose if you want to clone the complete list, you can just use x of colon. So it will clone the complete list. Wherever it is blank, you take it as your exercise. Now let us look at how nested list indexing works. So let us say this is a nested list which has 5 elements. The second position element is a list with 2 elements, and third position element is also a list with 3 elements. So these are the positive indexing positions 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And suppose if you want to extract 0th position element in the second element of the list, you can write x of 2 of 0. Similarly, if you want to get the output as 50, you should write x of 2 of 1. Suppose if you want to extract go, then you can use x of 3 of 2. So this is how the nested list indexing works if you are following positive indexing. In a similar way, you can also use negative indexing. This is just the replication of positive indexing. You can just go through the slides to understand this. List membership, there are basically 2 operators in and not in that test membership in a sequence. For example, let's say X is a list which is having 4 elements, up, go, down and 32. And suppose if you want to know whether a particular element is present in list, for example, whether up is present in a list X, you can write up in X and it will throw the output as either true or false. Similarly, 45 not in X, yes, it is true. You can also use concepts like concatenation and repetition using the symbols plus for concatenation and star for repetition. Let's say you have lists A and B which are having 3 elements each, and suppose if you want to concatenate both lists into a single list, then you can write A plus B. So the resultant will be 1, 2, 3 which belongs to list A and 4, 5, 6 which belongs to list B, and both are concatenated into a single list. If you want to repeat the list twice, you can use a repetition symbol A star 2. So the list A will be repeated twice and you will get a single final list. You can also write go into 3, so the string go will repeat 3 times. As we have discussed earlier, lists are mutable, which means you can change the elements within the list. Let's say, for example, X is a list which is having 5 elements, and suppose if you wish to change the second position element as hello, so you will first index the second position element as x of 2, and using assignment operator equal to, you will write your what value should be replaced. In this case, you are trying to replace the second position element with hello and print x. So in your final output, you will get 22 high. Instead of the list up, 50, you will get hello as your output. So there are other data objects like tuple and strings, and these are immutable, which means you cannot change the elements within those data objects. List deletion, there is an inbuilt function del which helps to delete a particular element in a list. For example, X is a list which is having 5 elements and you want to delete a second position element, you can use del x of 2. If you print x, second position element will be removed in your final output. There are different inbuilt list methods which are available, and each method like append, insert, pop, sort, reverse, index, count, remove, so all these have certain specific descriptions. You can find it out in this particular slide. To understand it better, we will look at all these methods with an example. Let us consider an empty list. X is equal to, it's an empty list. Now you are using append method and adding elements to this empty list. So if you are writing x dot append of 14, x dot append of 6, x dot append of 8, x dot append of 10, and you are printing x, all 4 elements 14, 6, 8 and 10 will be added to the empty list x. Now suppose if you would like to insert element 8 in first position of the list, then you can write x dot insert of 1 comma 8. 1 represents the position and 8 represents the value to be placed in the first position. So print of x, you will get 14, 8, 6, 8 and 10. Suppose if you would like to count the number of 8s present in that list, you can use count method. So there are 2 8s in that list, and suppose if you would like to know the index position of element 6 in that list, you can write x dot index of 6. So 6 is present in second position. Suppose if you want to reverse all the elements, you can use reverse method. You will get the output as 10, 8, 6, 8, 14. And suppose if you would like to sort the elements in ascending order, you can use sort method. So you will get the output as 6, 8, 8, 10, 14. And suppose if you would like to remove element 6 from your list, you can use a remove method. It removes 6 from the list and you will get the output as 8, 8, 10, 14. And suppose if you would like to remove the last element from your existing list, you can use pop method. So y is equal to x dot pop will select the last element. So suppose if you print y, the last element is 14. Now if you print x, that particular last element will be removed from your list and you will get the output as 8, 8 and 10. So this is how different list methods can be used. Looping over lists work. So the parent statement makes it easy to loop over the items in a list. We've already discussed about for loop and while loop in previous sessions. So we'll look at how these loops can be used over lists. So this is the basic format for item in list colon print item. For example, let's say L is a list having 3 elements like apple, mango and banana, and you can use a for loop over list like for item in L print I like item. So you will get the output as I like apple, I like mango and I like banana. So this is how looping can be done over lists using for in statement. Suppose if you need both the index and the item, you can use the enumerate function. That would be like for index comma item in enumerate of list L, print index comma item. So for example, L is a list having 3 elements, and for index comma item in enumerate of L, so enumerate basically gives a position as well, position of the item as well. So print index comma I like comma item. So you will get 0 I like apple, 1 I like mango and 2 I like banana. Suppose if you need only the index, you can also use a range and length functions in a list. So for index in range of length of L, print index. So this format will just give the index positions as your output. For example, L is equal to hence list for index in range of length of list L, print index. So you will get only the positions like 0, 1, 2. Now there is a concept called list comprehension, which is a concise way to create lists. So for example, let's say you have a list having 5 elements, and within a list you can use a for in statement. Like suppose if you want to square all the elements in my list, you can just write item *2 for item in my list. So if you print your list, then all the elements will be squared. So using list comprehension, you can use a for in statement within a list. These are some of the common built-in functions which becomes handy while dealing with lists. So let us say you have a list 1, 2, 3. You can use len function, which returns the number of elements in the list. Max of L, which will return the largest item in the list. Min of L will return the smallest item in the list, and sum of L will return the sum of all the elements in the list. So here the simple algorithm of a function that produces lists. So first you need to initialize a result variable to be an empty list. You should use a loop, then create a new element and append it to the result, and finally return the result. So this is an algorithm of a function that produces lists. You can do an exercise like assume you already have a function like is prime of x, which basically tests if x is prime, Now write a function to return a list of all prime numbers less than n, where you are first creating an empty list and then you are appending the items to the empty list.